Make some double chocolate chip cookies. So basically it's your basic chocolate chip cookie recipe. You add your cocoa powder for the extra chocolate, and then instead of chocolate chips you put in the white chocolate chips. So we'll start with our 1.5 cups of butter or margarine. I actually today just have a combination. I had 1 cup of butter and half a cup of margarine. So you can do whatever combination, butter or margarine, that you want, or whatever you have on hand, that's okay. And I'm going to add in 1 cup of white sugar and 1 cup of brown sugar. So you want to get your first 3 ingredients here creaming together. So we're just going to cream this up with a mixer for about a minute. You want it just nice and mixed up and fluffy. Butter and sugar is creaming for 1 to 2 minutes. You just want those mixed really well together, and then the margarine was room temperature or butter, or you put it in the microwave for 30 seconds. You want that all to be just nice and creamy. We are going to add in our 2 eggs, so we can just do this while it's mixing. And we're also going to add in 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. And I have 1 teaspoon baking soda and half a teaspoon of salt. You'll want to scrape the sides of your bowl a couple of times here, just because those creams, the butter and the sugar, tends to stick to the side of the bowl. So you just want to make sure those eggs and the vanilla and all that gets incorporated in there well. And while I have this mixer, the mixer up, I'm going to also put in my half a cup of cocoa powder, because this is probably going to poof up as I start my mixer. So I just want to start the mixer again slowly so that that can start to mix in. Alright, so that cocoa powder is mixed in really well. I'm going to add in some white chocolate chips. About 1.5 cups to 2 cups, depending how much you love white chocolate chips. You can also do about 1.5 cups and just save a few white ones to put on top at the end so they show through the dark, so you know you can see them on the top of your cookies. It's coming together nice, and we're going to add in 3.5 cups of flour. So cookie doughs, you always want them to just mix up really well. You don't want to have dry, floury spots in your cookies, so you want to make sure this is mixed until all the flour is incorporated all the way down to the bottom of your bowl. It may not make the side of your bowl completely clean, but you can see all the way to the bottom. I can see there's no chunks of flour down there anymore. So I think we're probably pretty close to mixed well. That looks good. Alright, so we're going to get the mixer out of the way before we start putting our cookies on the cookie sheet. I have my oven preheating at 375. So we will get these on the cookie sheet and I'll show you what that looks like. Alright, so I've scooped my cookies out with my 1 5/8 cookie scoop. There's not quite 60 cookies here, but it makes a nice big batch. And I like to flatten my cookies down a little bit, but I am putting just a couple white chocolate chips on the top, just so you can see them, because sometimes they get hidden in the dark chocolate. So I just like to put a couple of those on top just before I bake them. And I'm going to bake them 8 to 10 minutes. I'll take a look at them in the oven. So 375. Every oven's a little different, so 8 to 10 minutes. You don't want to over bake them. You still want them to be a chewy cookie, and especially because they're the chocolate, if they're even a little bit underbaked, they're kind of a brownie-ish taste to them. So 8 to 10 minutes, we'll take a look at them at about the 8-minute mark and see if we need a little bit longer. So I'll show you what that looks like. All right, these are 8 minutes. I'm going to leave them a little longer. 10 minutes is what I normally do. I just want you to see that they're not quite baked yet. So 2 more minutes. When you pull your cookies out, if you see they are still slightly puffed up, And as they cool down, they flatten a little bit more. Then you know you're gonna have a nice chewy cookie. So these ones look really good, and they're not underbaked either. So the 8-minute mark, they weren't quite ready. So these ones took 10 minutes in my oven. Because our goal is for a nice chewy cookie, almost brownie-like, you want to cool them on your cookie sheet for a few minutes first before you transfer to a rack. You can see how soft it is. It'll bend easily. And if you do it too soon, they'll actually fall through the cracks of your cooling rack. So you just want to make sure you let them cool there for a few minutes, maybe 3-4 minutes before you transfer them, and then let them cool all the way. These are very nice, rich chocolate cookies. Give them a try.